And welcome, everybody. Happy Friday to you, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Hey, it's Friday. You know what I mean? It's Friday. Forget all the stress, forget all the anxiety, forget all the craziness in the world. Just forget it. Just tune it out. It'll be there, believe me, after the show. It'll be there. Tonight is Paranormal Friday night. And this is the night where we just chill. We just chill. That's all we're doing. Well, thank you very much, Jessica. We're just chilling. That's all we're doing now. So this is tonight, Friday, and Saturday is the only time that we actually talk paranormal. That's it. And then the rest of the week, obviously, the Bible study and night prayer. So we just have a good time on Friday nights and Saturday nights. That is the goal. That's what we're trying to do, trying to get your mind off all the stress and frustrations and all this other crazy. Because I know there's a lot of that going on in the world right now. There is. Just forget about it. Now, I have hot off the press from Mr. Producer. Right before we went on, I have just been informed that the Sacred Division, the radio show that I've been hosting for 23 years, now has official merchandise. Official, and it's pretty good. They did a pretty amazing job. And I'll tell you a little bit more about it. But first, here's what I need you to do. I need you to go to a website. It is our sponsors, KGRAD as in dog, B as in bicycle.com, KGRADB.com. And when you go to that website, it's very simple to do. All you got to do, folks, is click on the shop link. When you click on the shop link, you'll see my name, Bishop James Long. And they have amazing items up there. Really, it's pretty cool. But again, here's what you got to do. KGRAD as in dog, B as in bicycle.com. And click on shop. Now, here's what I even like about this even more. So I've spoken to KGRADB Radio. And I've spoken to the owners and Mr. Producer and the other producers, and I have told them, look, here's the deal. There is a particular nonprofit organization that I have really just fallen in love with. I know the owners. They are legitimate. I did check them out because you have to, and you have to check them out. They are located in Africa. They are an orphanage, and they help children, impoverished children who are orphans, who have nothing. And they help feed them, clothe them, shelter them, and give them an education. So every single proceed that would normally go to me for the merchandise, we, as a community, we are donating that 100% of all proceeds that we receive, because this is our community. We are donating that to an organization, and I'll tell you about this. I'll tell you the organization a little bit later. Maybe tomorrow we'll talk about it. I tell you what, the owner of this orphanage, I saw him online the other day, and I gave him some gifts, and he was just crying because he had been praying that God would help him out because they've been running very low on funds. And they're self-funded, and they have. I met the children. They are just beautiful. It's a beautiful organization, and I know there's a lot of organizations. There's a lot of organizations that are very fraudulent. Yes, there are, and I have done my due diligence. I have looked them up. They are legitimate, so they're good people. And this guy just has a heart of gold, and I want to help, and so. Let's do that. So here's what you got to do. And also the merchandise is pretty awesome. There's a lot of St. Michael stuff there too. A lot. So here's what you got to do. KGRAD as in dog, B as in bicycle.com. And click on the shop link. If one of the moderators, could you put that there on the link? I just found this out 5 minutes right before we went online, so we're real excited about it. It's KGRAD as in dog, B as in bicycle.com, and just click on the shop link. And you'll see my name. And if you click my name, it takes you right to the Sacred Division page. And I'm you know what? Honestly, I'm honored and I'm blessed to be a part of this community that will be able to help this organization. And sometimes he'll come in and chat with us. And so if I see his name, I'll let you guys know when he comes into the chat. He comes in often for night prayer. And so it's a special thing. It's a special thing when you can give back. You know what I mean? So I live a very simple life. And because I live a simple life and because I've taken a vow of poverty, to me, it's when you push away from materialism, you know what? I am blessed because my bills are paid. I got a roof over my head. I have insurance. I pay for it, though. I pay $160 a month for it. But, you know, I can go in my kitchen and I have food in the refrigerator. I don't eat a lot anyway, but nonetheless, and I have Tic Tacs. Life is good. Life is good. And see, Diane, obviously, when you talk about something kind, people like Diane in the chat room, this is I want you guys to see this. People who are full of hatred and full of demonic oppression hate to see love. They hate it. And when they see love, they respond like Diane. You see? So, and this is how we deal with people who want to spread hatred. We don't deal with it by giving hatred back. We deal with it by saying, we're to pray for you, because obviously you're projecting a lot of insecurities that you have. And we continue to do love. So I will, Emma, I don't know what your name is on Book to the Face. So I don't know. She was blocked. She was blocked by Judy Ann. So if people are blocked, it's usually because they're being very disrespectful and rude. Imagine. But nonetheless, we are here. So please go to KGRAD as in dog, B as in bicycle.com. Click on the shop and click on my name, Bishop James Long, and purchase those items and know that whatever funds that will normally go to me will not go to me. We as a community, because it is us, because you're buying the items. And not only that, you're supporting the show. You're helping KGRADB pay bills. They sponsor. I'm using their platform. And so it helps everybody. And it helps this orphanage. How great your reward will be in heaven. Truly. Truly. I believe that. Okay. Now, if you want to go to my website because you're really bored and you have nothing else better to do, why would you? But if you really want, thank you. If you really want to, you can go to bishopjameslong.com. All right. Yeah, they did the Gianna. They put it in the chat room. You guys can pin it if you want to, moderators. KGRADB.com and click on shop. Yeah, you guys can pin it. So anyway, bishopjameslong.com. Also, if you want to go to the church's website, that's very simple. It's usocc.org. usocc.org. That's the church's website. Yeah, and if one of the moderators, if you guys, I know you're busy, but if you guys could just put KGRADB. There you go. And Tracy Ann, can you pin that for us there on TikTok? Excellent. Thank you very much. There you go, guys. Now you guys have it. And click on store and you'll see my name. That's it. Thank you, guys. I appreciate all of you. And I appreciate the moderators. Let me tell you something about the moderators. The moderators are here 7 days a week. I want everybody to know we're on 7 days a week. There are many content creators that never go on 7 days a week. I know some of them that never go live at all because they say it's exhausting work. They never go live. We're 7 days a week. Every single day we are online. Every day. And they are here faithfully. So, I mean, we have some of I think some of the best moderators that you can possibly get. Honestly, we're a tight group of people. They're also members of the church community, and they recognize this as a ministry. And they deal with a lot of hatred. Right now, we're okay. I'd rather keep the chat on for everybody on TikTok As you all know, I don't really like to put it off because it causes a lot of other problems for me when we go live. So if we can, do me a favor. Let's try to keep TikTok. We're going to try to keep the chat open for everybody. Just be kind. Now, I know that's hard for some people. Just be kind. Okay. Tonight we have night prayer at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget. Let me say this something very quickly, and then we're going to go into the show. Okay. I cannot be on 24/7. I appreciate that. But so if you want to join us for night prayer, this is what you need to do. And if you want us to pray for your petition during night prayer, this is what you have to do. If you're on TikTok, go to my profile. I have uploaded a video for today's night prayer that says place your prayer request in the comments before 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. And we will pray for your prayer request this evening at 10 p.m. Eastern. You got to put that in the comments. Put your first name in there too. Okay. If you are on all the other social media platforms here, all you have to do is go to usocc.org. It says to become a parishioner, click here. You just push it. And it takes you to our Book to the Face group page. Mr. Producer, we have to say that because TikTok will ban you if you don't. And then Judy Ann always posts every single day, place your prayer petitions in the comments for tonight's night prayer by 8 p.m. Eastern. Remember, guys, you got to make sure you do that. Okay. And then we'll pray for your petitions because we want to pray for them. All righty. Tonight, let's go. We have been waiting, I think, long enough. We've done a lot of great invitations to go to websites and invitations to night prayer. And tomorrow we're going to be here at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Sacred Division Weekend Edition. And of course, Sunday we'll be here Bible study at 8 p.m. Now, tonight we are going to talk to my buddy. His name is Willie Windwalker Gibson. I have known Willie for, oh my gosh, a long time. Gosh, I have to ask him. It's been a long time, over 20 years. Yeah, going, I think, 25 years now. So let me introduce our special guest for today's show. Willie Windwalker Gibson comes from Louisville, Kentucky, born on July 7th, 1955. Willie's heritage is a captivating blend of Native American Cherokee, as am I. My grandfather and grandmother were both Cherokee. And also, so he came from Native American Cherokee from his father, Robert, and Irish from his mom, Opal. He was raised with the belief that he was white until the age of 10, and the revelation from his father transformed his sense of identity. Now, in 1965, a mysterious encounter led to Willie experiencing a profound shift, awakening his connection with his Cherokee roots and unlocking a deeper understanding of the world around him. Now, guided by ancestral wisdom, Willie embarked on a transformative journey into the realm of shamanic spirituality, evolving into the revered figure that we know of him as today, Shaman Windwalker. So we're going to delve into Willie's extraordinary experience and wisdom on our show. And again, for those of you who are on TikTok, I will leave chat open for everybody. But if it gets rude and disrespectful, then I'm just going to put sub chat on and we'll fix that problem just like that. So anyway, just be kind. Okay, let's bring Willie Windwalker in. Hello, Willie Windwalker. And how are you doing today, my dear friend?
Hey, James, I'm doing fine. How are you and everybody?
Well, we're doing well. We're just trying to, push through as we're all kind of doing, aren't we? Just every single day, we just kind of go forward, don't we?
Yeah.
That's all we can do. That's all we can do. Tonight, folks, I want to talk to Willie about everything that's related to Native American paranormal, because there's a lot of people like to talk about Native American heritage and things of this nature, and they have no experience. Willie, how many years of experience do you have within the paranormal community?
60.
Okay, so 60 years. I think by that alone, folks, Willie is, honestly, when people want to talk about Native American heritage, shamanism, and in any type of, certainly any type of skinwalkers and things of this nature. Willie's the person. All right. Yeah, I agree there, Judy Ann. Free Palestine. Yes, from Hamas. I agree. Okay. We're going to talk about, first of all, skinwalkers. A lot of people don't know what a skinwalker is. So before we get into it, Willie, let's talk a little bit about how you became a shaman. Tell us about that experience. And are all people, or like for myself, I have Native American heritage within me. So how did you find out that you were a shaman, and how does that work?
Well, it's a calling, James. As you know, I started out as a cop, and I was posted in a Native American burial ground one night, and this spirit.
Now, just remember, we can't mention any type of weapon. Just remember that, because TikTok will ban you, and you can't say, you have to say unalive. So just a heads up on that, because TikTok's very strict now with their rules and regulations.
I remember.
Okay.
Well, anyway, I was sitting in my patrol car one night in a cemetery, and it was raining, and I've seen this figure walk out of the mist, and it was an Indian, and I thought it kind of strange, because I was in the middle of a fairground situation, and this Indian just walked out of the mist. And I got out of the patrol car and challenged the Indian, and the Indian told me that he asked me what my Indian name was, and I told him I didn't have one. He says, "From here out, you'll be known as Windwalker. He who walks with the spirits, and you're going to be a medicine man." A medicine man. He called me a medicine man. Okay. Mm-hmm. I just looked at him, and then he disappeared. And I didn't think any more about it. Of course, I'm not going to radio in and say, "Hey, I saw a ghost." You don't do that when you're a cop. And I just didn't say anything more about it, because I had been able to see and hear spirits since I was 10 years old. So it wasn't a big shock to me to see a spirit show up. So I didn't think anything of it. And the next night he showed up again about the same time, and then we started a conversation, and he kept telling me that what my path would be, and I kept telling him no, but he kept after me, and finally something inside of me said, I'd better listen to this, the spirit. And sure enough, little things started happening to me, more energy and stuff like that started coming to me. I think he was feeding me all this too, and I was kind of interacting with his energies. And next thing I know, I was turning in my badge, and I was quitting the force, and I went out on my own as a private investigator. That way I could kind of work my own way and learn things, and I didn't have to answer to anybody. So that's how I got started being a shaman. And I started learning everything I could from other shamans, and both spiritual and physical. I had male shamans and female shamans teach me what to do, and by the time 5-6 years went down the road, I came out in 1988 when I met my wife, and she understood who I was, and we started working together in the paranormal world, and that's how I got started to being shaman, and learning different things, and learning different techniques, and learning about the occult, and learn about the paranormal, and learning about spiritual stuff, both Native American and otherwise.
So Anne Marie's asking a good question. Was the Native American spirit that you talked to, was that spirit also a shaman?
Yes.
Okay, very cool. All right. Now we're going to talk about skinwalkers. For those of you, there's a lot of information about skinwalkers, and I think a lot of misinformation about skinwalkers. So for those of you who are unaware, skinwalkers in the Navajo are considered powerful witches with the ability to shapeshift into animals and other humans, allegedly. They're often associated with malevolent magic or curses, dark rituals. Would you say that is correct, Willie, or is there something a bit more about skinwalkers that the general public doesn't know?
That's about it, James. I've had a few cases involving skinwalkers, And what I want to get across to people out there, especially paranormal investigators, don't go looking for something like that. If you run across a case that you think is a skinwalker, don't try to do anything about it. What you need to do is turn around and walk away as fast as you can. Run if you can, because there's no way you're going to take on something like that. That's supernatural, and even shamans are kind of leery taking over on a skinwalker. If it's can be done, we kind of leave things like that alone. But if it faces us and there's no way that we can get out of it, then actually, James, it's a life and death situation. I mean, it's a one-on-one thing.
All right. Do you mind if I kind of go over some definitions? So that way we can kind of help people, and then we kind of go from there. How's that?
Sure.
Okay. So skinwalkers are thought to be individuals who have turned to dark magic. And again, if this is if information is incorrect, or you want to add, just let me know. Through dark magic, through ritualistic acts, they're usually perceived as evil. They're featured in by Navajo communities. They can transform allegedly into animals like wolves, coyotes, foxes, birds. They're believed to wear animal skins, use supernatural powers, or deceive and harm. Encounters are often described as unnerving sightings of strange animal behavior, dark silhouettes, human figures with animal features. The taboos is really talk openly about skinwalkers is considered dangerous. Navajo elders warn of curses or retaliation if the topic is discussed disrespectfully or even publicly by some people. Then the wendigos. The wendigos are interesting. They're a mythic creature or spirit that is associated with insatiable greed, of hunger, and even cannibalism. It's believed to be malevolent, ghostly entity that possesses human spirits or humans and manifests physically as a monster. Then we're going to talk about also the thunderbird, which is interesting, and some other things as well. So before we get into this presentation, there's a lot of topics. Can you share the origins of the skinwalker legend within the Native American folklore? What significance does it hold in the Cherokee tradition or Navajo tradition?
James, it's like you said, it originated back with the Navajo, and that's out west, and it kind of migrated, through different tribes in Cherokee too. A lot of people think that the skinwalker is staying in a certain area, but a skinwalker could be anywhere, in any state. And what people don't realize, a skinwalker, if you take on a skinwalker, it will follow you. If you take on a skinwalker in one state and you move to another and you take on this thing, and it will follow you, it will stalk you, it will stalk your family, your friends. Once it's tagged you, you're going to have to fight it. And the best thing to do if you run across a skinwalker or even a hint of a skinwalker being around, you leave it alone, because really a normal person can't take on a skinwalker. Only somebody like me, a shaman or a medicine person, can take it on, and even then it will be a battle for one of us.
And this is what I want to do. I want to separate. I want to talk about skinwalkers, then the Wendigo, perhaps maybe the Thunderbird. Various tribes talk about that. The Hoya Forest, perhaps maybe some other things as well. And I want to separate that way. We're not going back and forth and confusing people. Now, with the skinwalkers, what we're going to talk about first. So let's talk about here's some questions that I have. And if you have any questions, guys, about skinwalkers only right now, and then we'll go into the Wendigos. It just makes it easier to do this. What are the traditional, skinwalkers, are they demons or are they human beings that are witches that have done horrible, evil things? Because some people are going to say, now, look, not all witches are evil, and I get it. But what I'm trying to figure out, are skinwalkers spiritual beings, or are they actual physical human beings that have, obviously flesh and bones as you have, that I have?
Actual flesh and bones. They gave their lives over to evil, and they're evil witches. Now, you and I know a lot of witches, and they're good witches, and they're dark witches, and I've met both on both sides, and I've taken on dark witches for over years and years and years, for years and years. And I have, you can count on one hand the actual cases that I had with a skinwalker, because usually, unless you really go out and people don't really realize a skinwalker can be conjured. It can be asked to come and do evil things against somebody, because I've worked a couple of cases like that, but they're actually flesh and bone, and they can shape shift, and they can also change. People don't realize they can also change their appearance to look like a regular other human being. Skinwalkers are evil looking, but they can transform themselves into another person too. So you have to be careful when you're talking to somebody, especially if you're talking in the subject of a skinwalker. It's true that you really don't want to even speak of one of them. I can talk to other Native American people, and they don't want to, even to a shaman, they don't want to talk about it. So it's a regular flesh and bone person, and that has the ability to shapeshift into like a wolf or any other or any kind of cat or anything like that, or even a bird. They can shapeshift. But yeah, they can also be human.
Okay.
Too.
For those of you just joining us, I'm Bishop Long. We're talking to our friend Willie Windwalker Gibson, who is a shaman. And one of the things that we do here on the Sacred Division, and I've always done this, is I interview people from all walks of life, all faiths, all beliefs. Willie is, by the way, a Christian, as is his wife. They're both devout Christians. And so he's a shaman, and he has Native American heritage. And so we're talking to him. He has 60 years experience. And I think this is important. When you close your mind and say, no, I'm not going to talk to anybody that's outside of your realm of what you believe, then you really have no capacity to learn from a different perspective. Now, thank you. And so that's what we're doing on this show. I don't have a lot of guests. It's rare that I do, but sometimes I do. And I think it's always important. An intelligent person is an individual that's willing to and wanting to speak to other people, other perspectives, to hear what they have to say, to analyze what they have to say. And then after you gather all the information, you can decide whether or not you agree or not. But that really is a mark of intelligence. When you're able to have a conversation with someone that you may not agree with, or perhaps a different faith, a different culture. We all must learn from one another, because that's important. That's absolutely crucial. Now, there was a question here on TikTok. Sorry, I didn't get the name, but someone was asking, can a skinwalker enter a person who's a Christian, enter their home?
Sure they can.
Okay. Now,
it's not like you see in the old vampire movies. You have to be invited in before they come. They can come in. They can even go into a church. They can go any place they want to. They have that I guess that evilness about them, the power about them. And what people don't realize out there about me, I come from a Christian family, and I had ministers in my family. My dad was a lay minister. I'm an ordained Pentecostal minister. So, I've got the best of both worlds, because I've learned to use what I've had. I can do the Native American way, or I can do the Christian way. And I've had to use them both combined when doing cases too.
All right. And fair enough. So the question then, can you describe what are the rituals or precautions that a shaman uses to ward off or protect against skinwalkers?
Well, James, like when you do exorcisms, there are certain things you do that you keep to yourself. The shamans are the same way. They don't like to tell people what they do when they have to ward off a skinwalker, or even go even further. We talked about that being on TikTok. When shamans sometimes have to go out and destroy evil. And shamans will not tell you what we have to do that. Just like you don't talk about exorcism. I don't mean to be.
No, that's fair.
You got to be careful when we talk about this.
So let's talk about. So again, folks, we're going to talk about skinwalkers first, and then wendigos. So, what are some of the most terrifying encounters that you have heard or even experienced as a shaman that's related to skinwalkers?
A couple years back, a friend of ours contacted us. I won't tell their names, but I don't know. They might have told you the story. Contacted me and told me that this family had contacted them, and they were having trouble with what they thought was a skinwalker. They had also brought in a paranormal team, and the paranormal team investigated it. And evidently, they got so scared that they were scared off the case. They didn't go back because these people lived on like a rural area, and they had a farm and barn and all that kind of stuff. And they were having problems with some sort of creature coming out and messing with their livestock and things. So they figured it was just a regular person thing, like a wolf or a coyote or something like that, or a bear. And it was messing around with their livestock, and to come to find out, they ran up against what they thought was a skinwalker. So they contacted a friend of ours, and they contacted me and told me that what was going on. So I told them, I conveyed the message to tell those people to leave the area for a while until I figured out how I'm going to do this, because this case was all the way across country, and I'm just like you, James. When I get a case, sometimes I can't get there because of financial.
Yeah.
And I have to try to find another practitioner to go out and check it out. And from what I was told, they were dealing with a skinwalker, and evidently they must have made somebody mad and conjured up this thing to come and cause them problems. So I was giving counsel to the person that asked me for help, and they were going back to the family and telling them what to do. Basically, I told them to get away from there, move if they have to. I mean, just leave everything, because if it was a skinwalker, there's no way they can take it up, and they can fight it. They wanted to, but they would have lost. So I started. They did what I told them to. They left the area, and as soon as that happened, this was, I forget where this was. This was like in, I don't know, somewhere in Ohio or something like that. As soon as I did that, I got a phone call. I started getting phone calls from that area and hang-ups, and I would get like heavy breathing and things like that. And it was a warning for me to get off the case and not say anything more about it. Well, I did. I just stopped, and I told the person I was working with, we need to back off and let this ride for a while. So several weeks went by, and I get a call from the person I was helping, and they said that the family was missing. They were gone. They had left everything. They had left their belongings, their clothes, all the things. The only thing was, gone was their vehicle, and they nobody knew where they were at. So evidently they either took my advice or something awful happened that we don't know about. So that was one case that I was doing from here, trying to go against this creature, which I think sent me a warning to back off before it came looking for me.
So the question, would you define a skinwalker as a demon that takes on a human apparition or body, or would you say that it is a human being that is evil, that has the ability through whatever demonic influence to basically shapeshift, if you will, into whatever desire that they wish to cause havoc?
I think, James, personally, I think it's a demonic entity that's taken over a certain person that was evil, and they were in the dark arts, and they just wanted to become. A lot of people out there don't realize skinwalkers want to be skinwalkers. They want the power. They want to be able to shapeshift. They want to be able to do the evil stuff. They want the power.
Judeanne, I'd rather not have sub chat. I sent a message there. It just, if we can, I'd rather not. So guys on TikTok, if you can't be polite, I don't want to put sub chat on, but I will. I'd rather not. So just be kind, just be nice. That's it. Just be nice. Yeah. Just, so,
James, what gets me, people get on there and they want to, not be nice, but yet they're interested in what we're talking about. If they don't know what we're talking about, then they need to just back off and not have any opinion, because people don't realize, the paranormal, is another type of thing that only certain people like, but people don't realize the paranormal has been here for hundreds and thousands of years. And even the Bible had a lot of things taken out of it that was paranormal. The people don't realize legends, a lot of legends are real. You take the legend of Bigfoot, it's been caught on film, and I've been asked about it and what it is, and wendigos and skinwalkers and ETs. I've ran into a lot of that stuff and worked on a lot of that stuff, and people say, I don't believe you've done all this, but I have. I've done it. It's been 60 years, and actually it's found me. When people realized when I came out, when people realized what I was, I had people coming to me saying, this is going on, that's going on. I've had, I don't know how many paranormal investigators come and ask me, even to teach them things. I've been picked up and tucked to places. I've been blindfolded and tucked to places, and they wouldn't even tell me where I was at, and got out and done investigations. So people wouldn't realize what I've been through for the last 60 years. And, a lot of stuff that came up, like skinwalkers and wendigos and ETs and UFOs and cryptids and all kinds of stuff that I've run into, they ask me about, and then they think I'm crazy, but I know what I'm talking about. I've seen it. And a lot of people ask me under the table, what's going on, and how do I deal with this? And then they want to turn around. People get on there and say, da 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 da. I don't believe you, and start cussing it into stuff.
Right.
Like I've gone through it all.
Well, let me add, of course, and also you don't charge. So there is no ulterior motive. Otherwise, you've seen some things. Let me ask you, how often? Yeah, we're forget Tros. How often do skinwalkers differ from other shapeshifters or spiritual beings in Native American tradition?
Just about what they do. They don't do anything good. Everything they do is evil, and they stay in the background until they have a reason to come out. Like I said, a lot of people out there don't realize that a lot of these skinwalkers are conjured. If a person is evil and they know how to conjure up one of these things, it's almost like if you ever seen the movie Pumpkinhead. It's almost like that. You go and do, you call this thing out to do your bidding for you. So, it's like that. Skinwalkers stay in the background and hid until the right time is for them to come forward.
So is there a particular time of night or year when the skinwalkers are believed to be most active or powerful?
No, they're the same all the time, James.
So let's talk about your experience with a skinwalker. Has there ever been an experience where you have had a skinwalker situation, and did it kind of frighten you?
I have wrote about this in magazine articles. Way back when, I don't know, it's over 20 years, I get a call from this person. Again, they live in kind of like a rural area. They were having problems. They thought it was some kind of animal again, and they wanted me to come out and check it out. This was way before Shaman and me, my wife, got together, and I went on out and checked this area out. And when I got there, the guy came out and introduced himself and his family and everything, and he told me what was going on. They heard weird sounds, and a lot of their animals were being killed, and he thought it was some kind of animal, but he didn't know quite what it was. He kind of caught a glimpse of something running that kind of looked like a wolf walking upright. So I told him I would take a look at it. So I decided to spend the night. and I stayed outside and, out of sight. And sure enough, I guess it was about 2 o'clock in the morning, I started hearing rustling in the woods and branches cracking and all this kind of stuff. And I was watching what was going on, and this thing came out. It looked like a lot of different things put together. It looked like a wolf, some a wolf, and then it would turn and it would look like a bear, and then it would turn another way, and it would look like another type of animal. And then I went out and I had no choice. I went out and I challenged it, and it stood. James, probably, I don't know, like if I was where my house is, right across the street from my house, it would probably be maybe 100 feet. And it just looked at me, and I could see the red eyes in this thing. I stood there, and I'm saying to myself, now, how am I going to do? What am I going to do? Because I did have my medicine bag with me, and I knew what I needed to do in case this thing came forward. Because I know how to take care of this thing. There's certain tools that I had that I could use against it and really get rid of it. And it knew, I challenged it, and I told him who I was and who I was, and it could feel my energy. I could see that. And to look at this thing, James, it was like the worst horror film that you could be in, and you're actually there. And it's not no guy. Yeah,
what's in your medicine bag? And of course, when you do this, do you invoke the name of Jesus Christ? Someone's asking that. And what's in the medicine bag?
I combined everything, James. I used the name of Jesus Christ. I had religious things that had been blessed, and I had, of course, I had a certain type of weapon, which I'm not going to tell what it is. I had another type of powder that I'm not going to tell what it is, and it knew I had it. It could feel it, and I told it, if you want to exist, you'll go away from here and never come back, because if you do, I will take care of you. Of course, I didn't tell them in that kind of words, because I have to speak a certain language on TikTok,
Right.
But I was telling things that was very stern, and it looked at me and it just kind of growled a little bit, and it kind of backed up. Like, if you can imagine, if you saw a werewolf movie, the worst werewolf movie you ever saw, put a werewolf and a bear and another type of animal together with horns and stuff like that. That's what you had. That's what it looked like to me. So it backed up, and when it did, it realized, that area was under a shaman's protection, or medicine man's protection. So after it left, I knew it was going to come back, but there's some things I did. So I went and I put a barrier up around the area with some sacred salt, blessed salt, and I had other types of things that I went and buried in the yard, and then, like I said, I made a barrier around that, and I went on the side and told the people that they weren't going to have any more problems. And they didn't, because I waited about 3 weeks after I left there, and I called them, and they said they never had another problem, and they still haven't another problem. So that's one time that I was lucked out, because this thing could have challenged me. And that kind of challenge was, one of us wasn't going to walk, one of us wasn't going to walk away.
Right.
So,
well, let's talk about the Wendigo, because I'm telling you, there's so much. What's that?
If you think a skinwalker is bad, a Wendigo is worse than a skinwalker, because this thing is cannibalistic. It eats flesh. It was created too by evil.
Okay.
It's kind of along the lines of a skinwalker, but it's even worse, because the way the legend goes, Wendigo will actually eat their own family, and they live off of human flesh, and they have really strong evil power about them. Again, I was called out on a case about a Wendigo, and it's along the same lines of what I just said. They want to stay. They don't want to really come in town and do all this stuff. They want to hurt people on ranches and farms and things like that, and in the forest and all that.
Well, real quick. The descriptions of the Wendigo are often depicted as tall, emaciated, glowing eyes, sharp claws, unnaturally elongated face. Many people say that it's said to breathe cold air and embodies greed, starvation, the destructive nature of excess. Sightings include ghostly apparitions, cold spots, hearing unnerving whispers in snowy forest. Some claim to have seen large humanoid figures or strange creatures lurking in the woods. There are some people that believe that the tall man that many people talk about is a Wendigo. And Native legends emphasize that the Wendigo is a cautionary tale about selfishness and moral corruption. But there are many people who absolutely believe that they do exist. So let's talk about the Wendigos, if you don't mind. Let's get into that conversation because there's so much. I mean, we could go 5 hours just on the skinwalkers alone, but let's talk about Wendigos. So how can one identify a Wendigo from like a regular animal or a human or even a skinwalker?
This thing it looks like a bunch of different creatures put together, James, and you talk about smell. If anybody has ever smelled decomp, which being a cop, I've done it. I've actually worked in a morgue, and I know the smell. When I smell it, you could tell when this thing is coming. And like I said, this thing, I knew it was there. It didn't. This one particular case, it didn't show itself to me because, again, it knew what I was, and I know what it was. But I could smell it, and I could see. When I was looking in a forest, and like a deep forest, and I could see these red glowing eyes, and if all I can do is make out the silhouette of something very, very tall, and you could tell this thing was very powerful. Again, I challenged it like I did before. Shamans have to challenge things like that to let whatever that thing, the evilness or the creature, whatever, to let them know they're willing to take them on, and they're willing to not exist anymore. Are they willing to not exist anymore? That's what they have to worry about. Do I want to exist, or do I want to leave this guy alone? And a lot of times, I've said to myself when I prayed, I said, please go back to where you come from, because I don't want to do this. Because I knew I was going to get hurt or worse if I tangled with this thing. I mean, I had the tools that I need. I mean, to destroy one of these things, I mean, you really have to go to town on it. And I didn't want to really do that. If I can, I'm not a coward, but if I can calm a situation down where I won't have to hurt anything or anybody, I will do it. But to take on one of these things, you really have to use your spirituality, your Christianity and everything else against it, because it will. These things that you use against it has to be for good, not evil.
Yeah, and folks, again, keep in mind, for those of you just joining us, we're talking to our friend Willie Windwalker Gibson, who is a shaman. I have no idea. Mr. Rizzo, you've been asking about that over and over, and I don't know what that is. So you're going to have to explain what that is. So he is a shaman. He's talking about his experience in working these cases. He's been in this ministry now for 60 years. And so he's been doing it for a long, long time. And so let's talk about this. Can the Wendigos take on human form like the skinwalkers can? If so, how does the shape shifting then occur?
I've never known of one to shapeshift into a human form, James. It does the what it looks like. I mean, it will not change. I've never seen one change personally. Okay.
And how do you, and you said if you know that one is by your house, is the smell primarily? It's a really horrible, foul smell.
Oh yeah.
Are there any other signs that let you know that one is near your home?
Well, the Wendigo will leave like a warning. It will leave like a dead animal or something hanging out of a tree. The one I had kind of like a whistle to it. Not a growl, but kind of like a whistle, kind of like a hiss. And that's enough to curl your toes. just here and that, but it will leave warning signs that it's there and it's coming for you. Again, what I did once I challenged it, it backed off a little bit. I did the same thing that I did the skinwalker case. I went on ahead and put a barrier up. When a shaman puts a barrier up, that is like they're marking their territory. That said, this is protected by me. Do not cross that line.
Okay, so we have a question. I got to word this, Bill, in a way that we're not going to get in trouble from TikTok, because they're very strict. They don't even like the word cannibal with a C. They don't even like that, so you can get dinged on that. So I've got to be really careful about how I word this, because you can't say the CAN, where you're eating flesh. You can't say it. You can be blocked. So isn't a Wendigo? So the question that Bill is asking is a Wendigo a human that is changed as a result of consuming, according to folklore?
Yes, and it's a Wendigo. Once it does that, they're cursed by God.
Okay,
they're cursed.
So like Jeffrey Dahmer would certainly be cursed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because he went into Jeffrey Dahmer went into a trance before he did these terrible things. He actually watched The Exorcist 3, and there was one particular scene that he even said it put him in this deep evil trance. And so what advice would you give someone if they feel that they might be attacked or even haunted or whatever it might be through a skinwalker or Wendigo?
The only thing they can do, James, is contact somebody like me. A regular paranormal group cannot take something like that. I board off many a group that said that's what they're dealing with, and I told them, leave. Do not approach it, and do not try to take it on. And they've even said, well, come with us and you do it. No, I'm not going to take it on. If it's not bothering me, I'm not going to take it on. If I can get to leave the other people alone, I will. But a lot of times I've told them, okay, you go ahead and leave the area. I'll go and take care of business, and then I'll leave, and hopefully that'll be it. But, I don't know what it is, James. It's almost like paranormal groups are like, they think they're invincible. They think they can take anything on. Mm-hmm. And a lot of them don't realize what they're getting into. Many of them I told, don't do that, and they go out and do it anyway, and they come running back to me. Look, we've done this, and you're going to have to go and do it. No, I don't. I had a group one time that went against something like this, and they messed it up. Luckily, they were on property that nobody lived on. They just wanted to go investigate the woods, and they had a rumors or something like that going on, and then they went out and done that. And I said, you better hope that this thing doesn't follow you. And luckily, they didn't. And I just tell people, if there's no way you can get out of it, contact a shaman, because shamans know what to do. I mean, it's just like you, James. You have to send your investigators out if you get a case and make sure, you're going to. It is a real demonic case, and you're going to have to go and do your thing. But a lot of times you've seen that it's something that's not demonic. Same thing with me. To be sure before I go out and take on something like this, because if you get in a battle with one of these things, only one is going to walk away.
Has there ever been a case where you have dealt with either a Wendigo or a skinwalker, and that you thought, okay, this is too much?
They're all too much. But once I'm there, I have to do it. I got to show it that I'm willing to take it on. Once a shaman takes a case like that, and any shaman will tell you, they'll go out and do it, even if it means not coming back. But a shaman will not back off once they decide to take on something like this, and you got to. And
sure,
it knows what you are. You know what it is.
Right, but has there been a case where you were maybe physically where it attacked you?
No, I didn't let it get that close.
But you felt its presence.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I could see it, but it wouldn't go any closer to a certain point because it knew who I was and what I could do if it came any closer, and I would have.
so
I
how?
would have. I wouldn't have no choice.
Rizzo, I've asked you now 3 times to define that word, and if you don't do it, I'm going to block you. So I'll ask the question, but I've asked you 3 times to explain what that room, what that room is that you're referring to. That's the last time I'm going to address that. So, what protection or rituals do Native Americans, do shamans deal with when you're dealing with, let's say, a demonic versus a wendigo versus a skinwalker, or is it the same?
It's all the same. It's all the same ritual, James. Your shamans will use earth, wind, fire, and water, and will also use certain things that we carry in our medicine bag, which I won't say. A lot of this stuff that we carry in the medicine bags, it's been blessed, and it's certain types of metals and things like that, and powders and things that we use, that we make up, that will ward off these things.
Okay. Are there any sacred places or sites, or let's say states, that are more known for skinwalker or wendigo activity?
Skinwalkers usually stick close to, out west. I have ran into one skinwalker in 20 years or 25 years out this way. Wendigos usually, are not down this far south. They're up more in the north. Okay,
so are any of them primarily located in Kentucky or Indiana, or are they pretty much, what would you say, west or?
Like I said, wendigos usually stay close to north around Canada and New York and things like that. Skinwalkers are mostly out west, around New Mexico, Arizona, places like that, Utah. You got the Skinwalker Ranch, which that's a whole new different ball game they're dealing with there.
Do you believe that? Do you believe the Skinwalker Ranch, Willie? Do you believe that that's legitimate, or do you believe that's just hype for a television show?
James, this place has been investigated for 50 years, and they've had things going on there. Yeah, they're dealing with portals, multiple portals there, and creatures coming out of them and everything else, flying saucers, everything. They got those portals there, and the energy, what they're dealing with now is a huge energy portal. I do believe that there's underneath the mesa, there's probably a crashed, some kind of a crash ship there they're dealing with. So, yeah, I think they're really running into that thing. But for TV, they made it, instead of keeping it a secret. They've gone on ahead and made a TV series out of it and things. But yeah, this thing has been investigated for 50, 60 years, and they've been running into all kinds of things. And yeah, there's skinwalkers there.
So let's see. Okay, let's say that you're out in Arizona. Maybe you and your family are going out to the desert, and you want to see the beautiful skylight, and you want to see the stars. But there are these skinwalkers in this area. One, how do you know you're going to come across a skinwalker? And then 2, if you do, what do you do in the present moment?
Turn around and leave as fast as you can.
So how do you know if that is a skinwalker? What are the signs so that people can say, "Yep, that's a skinwalker. We're out of here."
What I believe in I've known this happen. They will keep away from people unless you just accidentally run onto one. If they see unless you challenge it, it'll go the other way. But if you think there's a skinwalker out there and it's in the area, and I would just turn around and leave. As long as you don't challenge it, it will leave you alone.
And the same thing for a wendigo then. What if you are in an area where you're just outside with your family or your friends, and you're wanting to look up at the sky, and you smell this horrible smell that you're referring to? And how would they know it's a wendigo?
they unless they challenge it, James, it will stay out. Unless it's been challenged, it will leave you alone. Just if you feel it, you can feel the evilness in the air with the smell. Get in your car and leave and go the other way. Don't go looking and say, I want to see what this thing looks like. You don't want to do that.
All right. So if you're out and your body is telling you something is not right, it's time to get in the car. It's time to get out of here. Then you don't question it. You just go.
You just go.
Now, we all know New Orleans is a place where there's all kinds of things running around in Nolans and Louisiana, allegedly. Do you believe there are skinwalkers and wendigos there? Do you believe that there are some people believe in vampires? Do you believe vampirism is a form of a wendigo or a skinwalker, or no?
No. Those two things are totally two different things, and I haven't heard anything about skinwalkers or wendigos being that far, into New Orleans and things like that. And as far as the occult in New Orleans, they stick mainly to voodoo and things of that nature, and vampires. We've talked about that too, you and me, and that's basically what they're into in that area.
And so, you've never been there?
Never been there. I haven't even been asked there on occasion. If I was in my situation now, I couldn't go anyway. But I would love to go and just, look around. Sure.
Just the history alone. Now, how much do you know? There's a lot of talk about the Badlands, Wendigo, skinwalkers allegedly exist people see that, they see these creatures in the Badlands. And again, wendigos are malevolent spirits from the Algonquin folklore, believed to possess humans. We talked about what they do. Skinwalkers are shape-shifting witches or witch doctors from the Navajo tradition. They have the ability to transform to animals known to inhabit remote, isolated areas. So a lot of people speak about the Badlands. Do you know much about the Badlands?
Basically, James, I think the Badlands it holds a certain energy for these creatures. They feed off the energy in the Badlands.
Yeah, and the Badlands, there's a Badlands National Park. I know it's situated in the southwestern south of South Dakota. There's also Badlands, like Willie just said, and there's several places: Alberta, Canada, Spain, China, even Turkey. Would you say that if you go to the Badlands in southwestern, South Dakota, you have a high chance of running into a skinwalker?
Could be, James. But if you feel something, go the other way. I mean, people don't realize they have psychic energy. They just got to know how to use it and zero in on it. A lot of times it comes forward, especially if you're in danger. It's just like people say, I've got this gut feeling. Well, that go with a gut feeling and go the other way.
So do the skinwalkers and the wendigos, do they communicate to you telepathically? Some people, I've even heard people say that they do. Some people say, no, they do not. They just make growls or to scare you away. So do
they telepathically, they can. They do.
And so what stories have you heard regarding that? Have you ever heard of how what people have experienced with that?
A lot. I've heard one rumor, I don't know, story or rumor that
sure.
This one person ran across, I guess I would say it was a wendigo that tried to get this person to come into the forest. And I was actually called about this case, too, as I remember. And I told him not to do it. I mean, a lot of these cases, James, I get, especially around this area, have to do with forest area where they can be concealed. You're not going to see a wendigo walking down the street. They try to, and skinwalkers too, especially if they've been conjured against you, try to lure you into where they're safe.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. And there's a lot of people who are absolutely online saying, absolutely, you're 100% right. So there's a lot of folks know a lot about skinwalkers and and wendigos. So if I were to, as an exorcist, if I were to show up, let's say I was going to this area that perhaps close to Skinwalker Ranch. Let's say I got really close to Skinwalker Ranch. Would you believe that I would have any type of reaction, or do you think that these skinwalkers would say, okay, we're just not going to be involved with this guy?
Okay, James, people out there don't realize you have abilities. I mean, you're not just an exorcist, but you have a lot of abilities. You get up a lot of energy that the evil part of the world knows when you're in an area, especially an area that's got creatures and things like that in it, and they know, what type of person you're in, and you are, and you will feel that energy too from them, because it's good against evil, and you've done this all your life, and you can sense it too. Just like when I go to Bell, a couple of times when I went to Bell Witch, I went into this town, and I actually started getting the jitters because that energy from that town was getting to me before I even got to the area where I was supposed to be at. Wow. So it's the same if you would go out to one of them areas.
Would you say the Bell Witch, because Willie was on the television show called, I think, what was it called again? Bell Witch?
Curse of the Bell Witch.
Yep, Curse of the Bell Witch. And he was there. They asked him to go and do a shamanic ritual to bless, to cleanse the area. Would you say that the Bell Witch, which we should do a show on that one day, would you think that, I think we did, would you say that the Bell Witch was a Wendigo?
No.
Okay.
No, the Bell Witch is a witch that is actually Native American, but as much as I've been after twice, and I've told them twice what they were dealing with, and they kind of blew it off because the Bell Witch is a money making proposition in that area, and that they make money off that. And they want somebody like me. I've actually been told not to come on the property, not to even go around that cave no more.
Oh wow! Well, because you were trying to cleanse it.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
wow.
I told them, they even, the first show I did there, they even challenged me to stay overnight in the cave. The person who owned it and was laughing. He said, I bet you won't stay the night. I said, I bet you I'll go in there and spend the night. You want me to on camera? And he kind of changed his little attitude. He said, no, because he knew I could go in there and spend the night. Nothing would happen to me. But I've told everybody this is Native American based. What's going on there?
Yeah, and I've done a presentation I've done a presentation on the Appalachian Mountains actually several times. I probably would do another one, but yes, there's a lot of paranormal activity in the Appalachian Mountains. Quite actually, a whole lot. Here's a story that someone sent me, and I'm kind of curious. I'd like to see what your input is on this, if that's okay.
Okay.
So Sarah, we'll just call her Sarah. She said she was driving home late one night. She's in Arizona on a deserted road when she saw a figure that was walking alongside the road. But she got closer and she realized it was tall. It's a shadowy figure. She said it had glowing eyes. And the figure suddenly turned to look at her with, she described it, a very twisted, freakish is what she said, smile, and felt a sense of dread that just completely came over her. She drove away very, very fast. And as she took off, she looked in her rearview mirror and it was completely gone. Would that be a skinwalker?
It sounded more like a Wendigo.
Oh, that's pretty. That's another one. There's another. I got several stories. I'd be curious to what you think. Jack was camping in the woods, and he said he had a couple friends. They heard strange noises outside their tent. They originally thought it was perhaps maybe a bear, but they peeked out to see a figure, a tall figure that was lurking in the shadows, watching them with unnaturally bright eyes. They ignored it, and Jack woke up in the middle of the night to find what he believed was the skinwalker standing actually over him in its inhuman face, inches from his own. He said it was like sleep paralysis. His other friends were completely knocked out because they were in other tents, but he could not move. He had sleep paralysis episodes. But then he said when he came out of the sleep paralysis episode, it was still there. It did not go away until he screamed for his friends to come in. And when they unzipped the thing, it went away.
That sounded more like a skinwalker.
It's interesting that these skinwalkers, I mean, that would be, yeah, that's a good question. Doppelgangers, a lot of people talk about doppelgangers. Do you think that could be a form of a skinwalker?
I don't think a doppelganger is. I think a doppelganger is more or less a spiritual, ghostly type of thing. Because I've had people come to me and said, "Look, I saw you such and such a place." I said, I haven't been there. He said, "That was you." You know, there's no denying it. I've never been there, so I know I've had a doppelganger out there that looks like me.
So, and then we'll do one more story. Alex, he said he was driving through the desert and his car overheated. And that will happen when you're in the desert. And he was in the middle of nowhere. And he said it was getting pretty late at night. And he got out of the car, got, the hood and checked the engine, and it was just overheating. So he was trying to get some water. But as he was going to his trunk to get water, he felt a presence that was watching him from the darkness that was just about maybe 10 feet away from his car. He looked up. He swears he saw a figure. It was standing right next to like a cactus. Its form was, he said it was like shifting. And it was like a black shadowy shift. That's what he kept saying. And he knew that he was being watched. He believed by a skinwalker. He said the eyes were a very bright. He described it red. But it was like a wavy. It's that's the way he described this black shadowy figure. And he clearly saw the eyes. And that bothered him. It's bothered him for years, and he doesn't know what that was.
It probably was a skinwalker.
These things are really, when you're talking about skinwalkers, these are really evil, malevolent beings that want to cause a lot of harm, not only physically, but intellectually, yeah?
Yeah, well, unless, like I said, James, unless you challenge it and you can get away from it, that's a good thing, but don't try to actually, like him, he probably got in the car and drove up, if he challenged that thing, which you don't really want to challenge anything like that, just get away from it as far as you can. Here's
a question that I absolutely want to know from you. Have you ever had a case where people used either a Ouija board or whatever it might be to try to connect with a skinwalker or a wendigo? I've had people do this with demons. I don't know why they do it, but have you ever had a case where someone used one of these devices to try to connect with one of these creatures?
I haven't had a case like that.
You've never had that?
No, never had. Now, demons are another thing. I've had quite a few cases like that.
Yeah,
and quite a few accidental cases like that.
So it's interesting. So the demons you have, but the skinwalkers and the wendigos you haven't. It seems like the people who come across these skinwalkers or wendigos, it seems like the cases that you've described, they've come by them accidentally.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that when these things show up, especially a skinwalker, they're usually conjured by something like a ritual or something like that. Now, you said about a Ouija board. I've never seen a Ouija board used, but that don't mean they can't be conjured by other means.
Okay, yeah, because if a wendigo is actually a spirit, an evil spirit, who knows? And let's do one more case, and then I'll let you go. Do you have any more cases that you can share that you worked either with a skinwalker or a wendigo, and how did you remedy the situation?
That's about it, James. Like I said, I've had maybe 5 or 6 cases, and usually, they were, I wouldn't say minor. I was lucky that I didn't actually have to go full throttle into this thing.
Yeah, no question about it. Well, Willie, we thank you very much for your willingness to jump on and chat with us for this a little over an hour and talk about your experience as a shaman, as a Christian, as clergy. 60 years of experience is a long, long, long time. And you're always very kind and share your experience. So we appreciate that, Willie. Thank you very much.
Sure. Anytime, James.
All right. You have a great night.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye. All right, everybody. That's our buddy, Willie Windwalker Gibson. We appreciate him very much. He always does a fantastic job. And by the way, if you want to reach Willie, if you want to email him, you can do so. And let me give you his email address. It's a very, very easy to do. And I know some people maybe have a different perspective on it, and that's okay. But it's crystalchief55@AOL.com. crystalchief55@AOL.com. Yep, he still has AOL email. God love him. But that's seriously, when you have people who have had that experience like Willie has had, it gives you a different perspective on things. And people need to understand something. Willie's been doing this for 60 years. 60. And there is nothing that Willie is trying to do. I mean, he does it for free. Now, he does have 2 books out. So if you want to go to Amazon, you can do so. These are very good books. They're Soul Warriors. You can just type in Willie Windwalker Gibson and pick up it. His books are really, well, he has one book right now on the Shaman Windwalker. And that's a very good book. I actually have it. It's called the Shaman Windwalker. He used to have Soul Warriors, but I guess it's not on Amazon. But you can just type in Willie Windwalker Gibson on Amazon, and you can pick up his book, The Shaman Windwalker. Good book. Talks about his life, his experience, what he's experienced. He really has experienced a lot. Yeah, the AOL address, sure. It is, let me grab it, Crystal Chief 55. There it is on the screen. For those of you who are on other social media platforms, it's Crystal Chief 55 at AOL.com. I have, yeah, the dolls of the Skinwalker, yeah. Judy Ann, you bought the Skinwalker? That's great. Yeah, I own it. I read it. It's actually a very good book. And again, this is when the trolls are gonna troll. They're gonna say whatever they're gonna. By the way, I think for the trolls out there, I think we need to do this, don't we? You know what I'm gonna do, don't you? You know what I'm gonna do. I think we need to introduce them to their very own troll song. So for those of you who are trolls, I would like to introduce you to your very own troll song that our community made for you because you're so desperate for attention. So allow me, if you would, trolls, to play this beautiful song just for you, since you need the attention. Trolls, it's all about you. Love. Yep. Casting shadows where they've never been. I own this song. Throwing words like stones to make them feel tall. True. They're the shortest of all. Sit in your chair. They don't share. Yep. Sing along. Trolls, this is for you. It's all about love. Joke is on you. True story. Keyboard warrior with nothing to do. Nothing to do. Spitting venom like it's your only art. But the poison only lives in your own. Sing along, trolls. It's a great song. Come on, trolls. No candy for you. That's right. See you, trolls.
So scream at the void, but it won't scream back.
That's a true statement.
Every word you throw just shows what you lack.
Yep.
Grow up a little bit outside.
Yeah, fade out of sight would be good.
Patrol in the dark. Can't stand the light.
They don't like this. The trolls don't like it. No. So. There we go. There we go. All right. Ba-dum-bum. All right there. And folks, you can enjoy that beautiful, beautiful song. It's on my TikTok profile. You can download it, use it, and let it. That's what the trolls are triggered right now. They're triggered. They're triggered. They're having a difficult time right now. We have to be nice to them. But that's no bubblegum for you, no candy for you. But anyway, that's all they do. That's all they do. They add nothing, no value whatsoever. I would think, boy, what a sad life that would be, to live your whole entire life and you add no value to anybody else's life, including your own. That's sad. Boy, we got a lot of, we lost on TikTok. There have been quite a few people that just left. I just want to point that out. There were quite a few people that just left when I played that song. So I think we hurt their feelings. Let's take a moment. Let's take a moment and show our sympathy for the. I can't do it. I can't do it. I'd be lying. I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm not even gonna pretend. No, I'm not even gonna pretend. All right. So, or this. That's really all we hear. That's all we hear. Or of course, as Jesse bought me the beautiful goat. Yeah, that's the best. See, this is the greatest thing. So when the trolls go on and on, yeah. Oh, poor baby. Shh. Shh. That's your lullaby. It's past your bedtime. Nonetheless, this is how you do. This is how you deal with trolls, my friend. That's how you deal with trolls. Very, very simple. You just look at them and pat them on the head and say, okay, now you got your attention. Go to sleep. It's past your bedtime. All right, let's talk about some paranormal topics. We got a lot to talk about today. Yeah, you got to enjoy it. You got to enjoy it. I tell you what, this is a lot. This is, that's right. That's right. This is really interesting. Did you know MK Ultra? Ooh. This is a real thing. And here's what's scary about MK Ultra. This is by T.K. Randall. There were secret experiments conducted in the 60s that actually used electrodes to mind control animals for nefarious purposes. Yeah, this is actually real. 60 years ago, the CIA was involved in a secret and controversial program known as MK Ultra, which, by the way, we know they did this because these were classified documents, and these documents are now unclassified, or some of them. So what happened, it was terrible. The CIA was involved in a secret and controversial program known as MK Ultra, which experimented with mind control techniques, often involving unwilling or unknowing human participants. Now, before this, however, researchers attempted various mind control experiments using animals. The idea was to use electrical impulses to stimulate the brains of the animals, which included rats, dogs, monkeys, donkeys, guinea pigs, and birds. Some animals were to be rigged with, let's just say, weapons, terrible, deadly toxins, and other things, essentially acting as unalivers that the enemy, in this case, it was the Soviet Union, would never see coming. Now, think about this for a second. Listen to what I just said. These animals were used as lab rats, basically, and they had horrible weapons that were attached to them for the Soviet Union, including birds. Now, for example, a rat could be used to poison someone, while larger animals could even be equipped with explosives that would be remotely detonated when the animal reached its objective. Now, according to declassified files, these are declassified. The researchers did manage to control the animals using these methods, although it doesn't look as though they were ever used to unalive someone. Instead, the information learned from the research was later applied to human mind control techniques before the whole thing was hushed by the powers that be. It wasn't until decades later that the full extent of what the CIA had been up to during these years was fully exposed. That's frightening stuff. What makes this real frightening, folks, this is real. That is real. Wasn't the Manchurian Candidate? I think that was what it was called. Who was that author? I forgot his name. He's a very famous actor. Very great actor. Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington. No. It was Denzel Washington. So he played a soldier. And there was a Manchurian Candidate, basically a senator's son, that they were pushing, I think, either to run for president or something of this nature. But I tell you what, that's crazy stuff. That is crazy stuff. Oh, well, thank you there, man. And thank you very much. Thank you for being here. I appreciate that. So anyway, this is real. This is a real thing. And it actually does. That's a frightening thing. I've never been to this place, but I've heard a lot about it. And so let me tell you a little bit about this. Some people say it's legit. Some people say it's not. Well, the MK Ultra is real. Yeah, that's a real thing. But this was by Kiss.fm 93.1. Is there really a portal to hell in El Paso? Well, there is a cemetery, I've never been there, called Concordia Cemetery. Isn't just old, they say. It's ancient, established in 1856, and home to over 60,000 buried souls. This historic landmark in central El Paso has been the focus of ghost tours, graveyard investigations, and urban legends for decades. If you've ever been there, let me know, guys. But one rumor stands above the rest, that somewhere on these haunted grounds lies a literal gateway, allegedly, to hell. If you've ever been, it's called Concordia Cemetery. It's in El Paso. Have you guys been there? Anybody? Yeah, that's what they say. Anyway, it says that if you're willing to part with $25, you can go find it yourself. So where is El Paso's Hell's Gate, and why do people think it's haunted? So El Paso's El Paso del Norte Paranormal Society offers regular ghost tours of the cemetery, and every October they crank it up a notch with special haunted history tours. The centerpiece of the spooky trek, well, a site known as Hell's Gate, a mysterious area near the old railroad tracks where the visitors claim to feel a strange pull. In more scientific terms, it's a paranormal vortex. Now, some say it messes with your internal compass. Others say it's just a weird breeze. And if that wasn't enough, some visitors have reported hearing ghostly hoof beats and children laughing in the dark, which, let's be honest, are probably the two most terrifying sounds you could hear in a graveyard. Anyway, tour guides have claimed that they've seen shadows darting between headstones and mysterious mists, riding from the infant section of the cemetery. Anyway, is it a paranormal activity or just El Paso's dust playing tricks again? So there's paranormal evidence allegedly. Two brave ghost hunters once claimed to catch a full-on shadow person near a crib-shaped grave marker. Another photo taken near gunslinger John Selman's grave shows what appears to be a pair of disembodied ghost legs just hanging out. Even Reddit has a few choice stories from local teens and amateur Ghostbusters describing everything from phantom footsteps to sudden shifts in temperature. And no, not the kind you blame on West Texas weather. It says basically if you got a shaky camera and enough belief, Concordia is your horror movie set waiting to happen. Now, there are allegedly satanic rituals because it's not proper to haunt a site without a little satanic panic. Some locals believe that the cemetery has been used for ritual purposes. Reports of candles, strange symbols, late night offerings have been added fuel to the fire. There's no evidence anything truly sinister has ever happened. So just keep that in mind. Don't know. And so if you want to go there, you can type in Concordia. Yeah, I've been to St. Louis Cemetery. So it's Concordia Cemetery in El Paso, Texas. Now, I would say this. I don't know anything about this place, but I have talked often about the Gates of Hell Cemetery in Kentucky, which I'm the one who named it the Gates of Hell Cemetery 25 years ago. Nobody in the paranormal community knew the Gates of Hell even existed. And the families contact the families, well, the area, people who had families buried. It's an old abandoned cemetery. It's no longer used anymore. And families ask me of loved ones who are buried there to go because they absolutely know that people are doing nefarious things. And so they asked me to bless it. And we said, sure. And they said, yeah, we also want to see if there's any type of documentation, any type of weird things going on there. So we did this. And all hell broke loose in that cemetery. I mean, that was one place that I will not go there at night at all. It is a different world. It is a totally different world. And no one even knew that cemetery existed 25 years ago. We went public on the Discovery Channel, National Geographic. I was on the Travel Channel talking about this thing. This place is truly sinister. Oh, yeah. I mean, we got growls. I've talked about this on the documentary. I don't know what I saw that night in that tree. It bothers me to this day because I can't define it. No, Max, you go to that place, you're asking for trouble. It really, I think it's a warning, Jen. But here's what happened. And by the way, I have a documentary. You can go to my tube to the U. I have to say that because otherwise you get in trouble. But if you go to bishopjameslong.com and you scroll down to where it says official social media links, and you see with the tube to the U, the documentary, I don't know what that was. So we were there one time, me and 3 other people. Bishop David Price was with me as well. And it was at midnight. We were by the witch's tree. So there's one way in and one way out. It's an old beaten down path, and there's like a horseshoe fence around it's not a huge cemetery. And we were back by what they call the witch's tree at the very back. And it was around midnight. It was in the middle of summer. And the crickets were going, and then the wind started blowing, and the trees started swaying back and forth. But we felt no wind where we were, and the crickets stopped. It became, it was silent. It was silent. And then we began seeing shadow people darting from behind tree to tree. There's a lot of trees there. And at first we thought it was the locals trying to scare us because it started out like 4 or 5 or whatever. Then it got to 10, then 20, and then 50. And they were everywhere. They were darting back and forth behind trees. And what it was is we were like, this is the tree here. It started here, and then it was like they were moving this way, like this is the entrance. And clearly they were seemed like they were going to close us off. That's what they were doing, because they started from back here, and the shadow people just kept going back and forth. So we said, it's time to go, because we were not prepared to perform the minor rite of exorcism there. We were just wanted to document. So we walked out to the front, and again, it's a one-way path in, one-way out. And there's a tree right there in the front. So there's a little park where you can park like a turnabout. And the car was parked there, and our back was against the cemetery. We were talking about what we had just experienced. One of the investigators had a flashlight. This was in the days where it was the battery operated flashlight, the big batteries, the D batteries or C batteries. And we heard a rattle. And we realized it was his flashlight. And when we looked, he was looking towards the cemetery. He was shaking. He was doing this. I mean, his arms were shaking. We turned around to see what he was looking at, and in the very entrance of this cemetery is a tree. It's not a huge tree, but it's a pretty good size. It was a full moon right behind it, so we could clearly see everything. We saw this creature. Every one of us saw it. It was about 8 to 10 feet tall. To me, it looked like a large human bat. That's the only way I can describe it. The wings were spread out, really, I mean, from edge to edge of the tree. It was so clear. I mean, he had the light flying right on this thing. We saw the claws. We could even see the feet. It made no noise. It had a long, elongated torso, very muscular. It looked like a bat. Red glowing eyes looking right at us. Thank you. I don't know what it is. I don't know. It was different than a demonic, because when I'm in the presence of a demon, I know there's no, because I performed 33 exorcisms. I blessed thousands of homes in 25 years. So I know what a demonic presence feels like 100%. This was different. This felt like it was an actual creature, but it made no noise. But we all knew that if we stepped an inch closer, we were going to be attacked. I don't know what it was. I can't define it. And that drives me crazy because I can't define it. No, it didn't feel like a demon. It felt to me more like a cryptid, like a physical creature, a cryptid. That's what it felt like to me. It was like, it wasn't a demonic feel to it. You know the difference between a demonic feel and that. That was a demonic feel. Vampire, I don't know. But the eyes were fluorescent, looking right at us. Yes, I believe in ghosts, absolutely. So I don't know what it was, but it was a cryptid. There's no question about that. No question. And perhaps it was Mothman. What bothers me is that I can't define it. And so when I came home, I got my little dog out, Kylie. At that time she needed to go, do her business outside. So I took her outside in the front, and outside there's a street and there's a big field right in front of my house. And so I took Kylie out there, and she was doing her business, and I heard this growl. Now, I've heard growls before. Thank you, Sheena. I've heard growls before. This growl was very different. It felt like it came from it was demonic. It felt like it was, again, from some type of creature. It was so deep and powerful. I've said this before. It felt like I put a speaker on my back and someone turned the bass up, and when it growled, I could feel the growl in the chambers of my chest. I have never experienced that in my entire life. Kylie stopped. She heard it. I grabbed Kylie and said, "You're done." Because I don't know what that was. I don't know what that, I don't know. I would love to know what I would know. I didn't smell it. No sulfur. We didn't smell any type of, when we saw the thing, there was no smell to it. There was nothing. But again, we knew that if we walked if you can go on, I have a documentary. It's on Tube to the U. You can watch it. I don't know. I think that for me, when I can't define something, it drives me crazy. Maybe I just need to just let it go and admit to the fact that it's just simple. You know, it could be Mothman. I don't know. So, but it didn't. As far as sleeping that night, it wasn't not so much scary as it was I couldn't figure it out. When I can't figure something out, that bothers my brain goes in overload because I want to be able to define it and explain it. I can't define what that was. Oh, I could see the eyes. We could all see the eyes. Every single. No, we didn't have a video on that night. All three. Bishop David Price was there with us. There were 4 people. And we all saw it, and we were like, okay, get in the car now. Don't go any. Every one of us knew if you step foot closer, that was it. That was it, and the cemetery. So, yeah. Oh yeah. That's another one, Jax. Thanks for reminding me. So I went there one time with my buddy Steve-O. We went to the seminary together. And we decided to go to the cemetery, Gates of Hell Cemetery, to do an investigation. And we were talking. We were on the expressway, and I was going like 65, 70 miles per hour. 70 miles was the speed limit. And we were going down the road. We were talking about what we experienced, and it was late. And Steve said something, and I turned right next to him, and I was answering something. He was looking at me, and we had that look because we both saw in our peripheral vision, a little boy, he looked like he was like in the 1890s clothing, but he was just it was a little boy, and he had his arm on the armrest and just doing like this and just listening to the conversation. And obviously that startled me because I wasn't expecting a child to be in the back seat. And we almost crashed into the side of the expressway. And that in the expressway at that time had all like brick wall or rock, I guess I should say. So I slammed on the emergency lane, and we both saw this thing. So this place, I tell you guys, if you've ever seen the movie Silent Hill, if you've ever seen the movie Silent Hill or played the game Silent Hill, that's the Gates of Hell Cemetery. I've been scratched before, Bon. During the day, it's one place you can. During the day, you can tolerate it, but you know that there's something not there. I'm sorry, you know that there's something lurking, but at night, no. At night, you go there at night. You are absolutely 100%. You're going to experience something, and you should stay away from that place. I will not go there at night. I won't. Unless a family really wants me to go back, it's a bad place. So I got scratched once when I was at the Bobby Mackey's episode on Ghost Adventures. I did 3 episodes with him at Bobby Mackey's. Now, the Gates of Hell Cemetery makes Bobby Mackey's looks like Disney World. There's no comparison. There's no comparison between the two. Oh, no, I didn't go by myself. I would never go there by myself, ever. So, throwing the kid off the bike. Yeah, I don't know. I knew Lorraine. I did not know Ed. Lorraine did not like Annabelle. She didn't want to be around Annabelle. By the way, I will be going, let me let everybody know, I will be going to the Queen Mary, one of the most haunted locations in the world. I will be going there this September. I'm going to be putting on, creating some documentaries. Judy Ann will be serving as the executive producer there. So I'm going to be going there in September. I will actually be doing a live show on the Queen Mary. And then I will also, in October, I'm going to be speaking at Scarefest. It's in Lexington, Kentucky. And I will be with Annabelle. I will see Annabelle, and I will go live. It will be probably only on TikTok because I have my phone. I can't run it on everybody else. But it will be at the Scarefest. So, anyway, comment rule-wise on what? Yeah, you have to protect yourself. Absolutely. Yeah, that's September is going to be the Queen Mary, and I will be doing a live show on the Queen Mary for everybody. I will be on the ship for all social media platforms. Yeah, CERN is a serious thing. I am staying the night, Phoenix, at the Queen Mary, and I'm actually staying at the most haunted room on the Queen Mary. So I will be there doing a show. That will be in September. It'll be in the middle of September. I'll let you guys know about that. And October is Scarefest, where I will be at Annabelle. Annabelle, by the way, that's in Los Angeles, Ancient Words. Annabelle, by the way, friends, Annabelle never went missing. That was ridiculous. It was a lie. It was a stupid, crazy story that people made up to get likes and clicks. Annabelle the doll never went missing. Never. I was with, no, it's not in San Francisco. It's in, I have some friends actually there. It's in Los Angeles. I believe it's in that area. So, but anyway, no, she's never been. So I have been a Bachelor's Grove. Yes, I have. Yep. And I actually saw a full body apparition at Bachelor's Grove Cemetery in, matter of fact, that's where I studied. I studied at Loyola University in Chicago. So I went there several times. Oh, thank you there, Sheena. Okay, the idea, here's the theory about why don't you burn the items. You don't burn the items because the theory is that once you do that, you can release that energy. You want to bind that energy to that particular object in the name of Christ so that it can no longer attack or hurt other people. I have a massive collection of items that I have collected in 25 years as an exorcist, where people, bring these terrible things in their homes and then all hell breaks loose. As a matter of fact, it was just recently I did a presentation on that right here. And I showed several items. And I do this, the reason is I collect these things is because when I go around and I teach about them, when you see it, then it becomes real. It is tangible. You can see it. It is there. People get the point. Stay away from I have a storage facility. Stay away from these items. Stop collecting these items that are allegedly have a demonic attachment. There is nothing good that comes with this. Friends, listen to me carefully. I have not. No. You do not know. If you go on, let's say, auction sites that allegedly has items that have demonic attachments, you don't know what you're getting. You have no idea. You don't know what that person did to that item prior to you buying it. I have had cases where people did purchase these items because they wanted a haunted item. And they found out that, well, actually, one person purposely bought it when a voodoo priestess said that they purposely put a demonic to attach an item. And they bought it. People bought it. Why would they do this? But people are buying this on social media. And, there's stories about, there's horrible things happen, and people are buying these things up. You have no idea the history of these items. None. And then they take them to their home, and then terrible things happen, and then they call me and they want me to fix it. Well, I can't necessarily get to everybody's home. So, no, I'm not, Gene. So you just got to stay away from that. Stay away from these items. They're no good, and people keep buying them. Just stop. Just leave them alone. Leave them alone. That's the best way. That's the best advice. Leave them alone. Nothing good will come from them. Okay, for those of you who are listening to this on podcast, I'm going to say good night to you guys. So this this presentation is on podcast. Of course, it's also, we do, user. That's what I just said. That's why we don't burn them. We bind them. And that's what I just mentioned. And that's why I have these items. And as an exorcist, I teach people about don't mess with them, leave them alone. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix this real quick. Okay, very good. All right, so TikTok, stay with me for just a moment. We're going to say goodnight to our other friends. We're going to be here tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There are a lot of articles I did not get to. So we're going to be here at 8 p.m. Thank you very much, Michelle. At 8 p.m. tomorrow. And so please join us. For those of you who are on KGRADB radio, don't forget, go to KGRAD as in dog, B as in bicycle.com. Click on the shop link and then click my link where it says Bishop Long. Buy the merchandise there. Whatever merchandise, whatever sales that we get that will go to me, we are donating that to an orphanage that is in Africa that desperately needs funding because they're self-funded. So please consider doing that. And for those of you who are on KGRADB radio and all other social media platforms, remember I tell you, your value does not decrease based on a troll's inability or refusal to see your worth. You're priceless, and don't let them tell you or convince you otherwise. Good night.